Ladies and gentlemen, inductee Jim Chaffin. James Robert Chaffin was born in Albertville, Alabama, to Rupert J.B. Chaffin and Mary Lou Fowler Chaffin. He also had a sister, Elizabeth Chaffin Jones, who is now deceased. Jim was an outstanding football and basketball player for the Aggies from 1943 to 1946, playing for Coach Raymond Bates, who is shown here with the 1944 team. The 1945 team included 3 Hall of Fame inductees. Front row, number 78 is Chaffin, and number 81, Ralph Reed. On the back row behind Chaffin is number 95, Marion Abby Abercrombie. James Robert graduated in 1946 and went on to have an outstanding career at Jacksonville State, graduating from there in 1951. While at Jacksonville State, Jim met and married Joan Hackney of Anniston, his wife of 57 years. Jim began his coaching career at Isabella High School in Chilton County in 1949 before finishing his degree. Following his graduation from Jacksonville State, he volunteered for military service in the U.S. Air Force during the Korean War. One of his duty stations was Maxwell Field in Montgomery. After the war, Jim taught 1 semester at J.B. Pennington High School in Blount County and then returned to Montgomery. In 1954, Jim went to Sidney Lanier High School as head baseball coach and won the state baseball championship his first year. In the fall of 1955, he transferred to the new Robert E. Lee High School as an assistant football coach to legendary coach Tom Jones. As an assistant to Jones for 11 years, the Generals had a record of 95, 12, and 5 and won 5 state championships. When Coach Jones left to become the freshman coach at Auburn in 1966, Chaffin became the head coach and continued the winning tradition with a 6-year record of 51, 13, and 2. Following a rare losing season in 1968, Coach Chaffin went to Houston, Texas to learn about Bill Yeoman's version of the Veer offense, which he installed that year at Lee. His 1969 and 1970 teams were undefeated and won the state 4A championship. Jim was selected 4A Coach of the Year both years and is shown here receiving the state championship trophy from AHSAA Executive Director Bubba Scott. Jim's 1970 team was listed as one of the top 10 high school football teams of all time. From 1969 to 71, Jim's teams had a 32-game winning streak, and he coached the 1970 South All-Star football team. He also won the state wrestling championship. Following the 1971 and 72 season, Jim gave up his coaching duties to become the Montgomery County Board of Education's first supervisor of physical education and athletics. During his career, Jim has served as vice president and president of the Alabama High School Coaches and Athletic Directors Association, physical education consultant for the Alabama State Department of Education, and has been active in state and national organizations for health and physical education and coaches. In 1980, he retired from public education to become the athletic director for the new Trinity Presbyterian School in Montgomery. James Robert Chaffin was inducted into the Alabama High School Sports Hall of Fame in 1992, the second year of its existence. The Montgomery Area Sports Hall of Fame in 1993, which includes such outstanding athletes as Joe Sewell of the New York Yankees and Bart Starr of the Green Bay Packers, and the Robert E. Lee High School Hall of Fame in 1995. Jim was also selected as a Jacksonville State University Distinguished Award honoree in 1995 and was given the AHSAA Lifetime Achievement Award in 2009. Jim and Joan currently reside in Wetumpka and have 2 children, Cindy Dykes and James Chaffin Jr., 3 grandchildren, and 4 great-grandchildren. He still enjoys returning to his roots on Sand Mountain and attending 1946 class reunions with his many friends and teammates. Ladies and gentlemen, 2009 inductee, James Robert Jim Chaffin. Inducting Coach Chaffin will be P.J. Harris.
Congratulations, James Robert. And it's a well-deserved honor on an unbelievable career.
Thank you. May I thank the committee. May I thank the officers, everyone that has a hand in this thing tonight. You impressed me greatly by starting with scholarships. That's great. Keep up the good work. I want to tell you how fortunate I am to be a part of those selected with me tonight. The Garrett brothers, believe it or not, were my heroes when I was growing up. John was a special friend of mine. John was the oldest. And John had arthritis real bad his later years before he died. Every time I'd come home to see my folks, well, I'd go visit John. Y'all, I hate to tell you, but I picked his brain as hard as I could because he knew how to handle kids. He knew what it takes to win, but he knew how it takes to win in the right way. And I've used John many, many times through my 42 years in athletics. Y'all, I've been so fortunate. It all started in Marshall County on April Fool's Day. It was when I was born, so you won't forget my birthday. And that was in 1928. But I was born to the very, very special mother, one that has been dear to my heart all these years. Then my dad was a great man to me, and my sister was very, very special. It's hard for brothers and sisters to love each other, but we did. Now, then, y'all growing up in an environment like that, you couldn't help but go in the right direction. I think they put me on the right road, a little fat boy growing up in an environment like that and getting to do what I have been able to be a part of. I've been so fortunate. But along with my family now, so many, many good friends that I love dearly. I mean friends and then teammates. To be honest with you, y'all, we never smoked a cigarette. Now that's hard to believe. We didn't drink any whiskey. We wouldn't know where to find it anyhow in those days. But we were just that way. They taught me two things, and that was loyalty and love. But in my coaching now, I use that. But I added one more thing. First of all, discipline, loyalty, and love. And you just can't have one without the other. My wife has been my strength and my guidepost for a long, long time. Through some great times, we've had some great times. We really have. And we've had some tough times. I'll just have to tell you about tough times. We had a little saying, and I bet I've said 1,000 times on the practice field. Expect the unexpected. It's going to happen. Now, anybody that's done any coaching knows exactly what I'm talking about. You can plan and plan and plan 24 hours a day, and it won't go like you plan. Let me give you one little example. Well, we were playing in Crampton Bowl one night, and we happened to be ahead in the ball game, but the quarterback of the other team was just on fire, and he'd completed about 6 or 7 in a row. And he's about to eat us up. And I looked at our defensive linemen, and their tongues were hanging out. We'd rushed that passer so hard, but we couldn't get to him. Well, I looked around, and here stood Archie. Archie was one of my favorites. I loved that boy to death. He was a big, strong kid, a good athlete, but Archie wasn't all that bright. If we'd had special ed back then, he'd have been in the special ed program, but it made me love him that much more. But I grabbed Archie by the jersey. I don't know why, but I did. And I said, Archie, I want you to go in there and I want you to knock down every lineman that tries to block you. And I want you to get to that quarterback and I want you to put him flat on his back We've got to rush that passer. He was already gone before I finished. Well, the teams lined up, they left the huddle, and just before the ball was snapped, Archie knocked down 2 linemen, floored the quarterback, an innocent quarterback with no ball in his hand, and I've never seen as many penalty flags go up in one play in my life. Every one of them that had one, and the referee's flag just floated down, seemed like for 5 minutes. See, I forgot to tell Archie one thing. Son, don't do it until the ball is snapped. You can't always do it all now. Things are going to happen to you. But she's been with me all through those tough times. Y'all, I've been so fortunate to have the family that I've had and to be raised in the environment that I was raised in. Y'all, this is a blessed place in my heart. And I want to say tonight that my friends couldn't have been better. My teammates, I couldn't have picked them better. Now, our talent wasn't all that great, but we played great. And in my coaches that I've surrounded myself with through the years, it's just been a marvelous thing for me. So I really can't accept this award by myself tonight. This award goes to all those people who have surrounded me and guided me and helped me all these years. I thank you for them, and I thank you for me, and I thank you for taking care of your young folks with these scholarships. Just keep up the good work.